is a lamp unto my feet, and a light unto my path. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet, and a light unto my path.
First reading. A reading from the prophet Micah, chapter 7, verses 14 to 15 and 18 to 20. Shepherd your people with your staff, the flock of your inheritance, that dwells apart in a woodland, in the midst of Carmel. Let them feed in Bashan and Gilead, as in the days of old, as in the days when you came from the land of Egypt. Show us wonderful signs. Who is there like you, the God who removes guilt and pardons sin for the remnant of his inheritance, who does not persist in anger forever, but delights rather in clemency, and will again have compassion on us, treading underfoot our guilt. You will cast into the depths of the sea all our sins. You will show faithfulness to Jacob and grace to Abraham, as you have sworn to our fathers from days of old. The word of the Lord.
A reading from the Holy Gospel of St. Luke, chapter 15, verses 1 to 3 and 11 to 32. Tax collectors and sinners were all drawing near to listen to Jesus, but the Pharisees and scribes began to complain, saying, "This man welcomes sinners and eats with them." So to them Jesus addressed this parable. A man had 2 sons, and the younger son said to his father, "Father, give me the share of your estate that should come to me." So the father divided the property between them. After a few days, the younger son collected all his belongings and set off to a distant country, where he squandered his inheritance on a life of dissipation. When he had freely spent everything, a severe famine struck that country, and he found himself in dire need. So he hired himself out to one of the local citizens, who sent him to his farm to tend the swine. And he longed to eat his fill of the pods on which the swine fed, but nobody gave him any. Coming to his senses, he thought, "How many of my father's hired workers have more than enough food to eat? But here am I, dying from hunger. I shall get up and go to my father, and I shall say to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I no longer deserve to be called your son. Treat me as you would treat one of your hired workers.' So he got up and went back to his father. While he was still a long way off, his father caught sight of him and was filled with compassion. He ran to his son, embraced him, and kissed him. His son said to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I no longer deserve to be called your son.' But his father ordered his servants, 'Quickly, bring the finest robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. Take the fattened calf and slaughter it. Then let us celebrate with a feast, because this son of mine was dead and has come to life again. He was lost and has been found.' Then the celebration began. Now the older son had been out in the field, and on his way back, as he neared the house, he heard the sound of music and dancing. He called one of the servants and asked what this might mean. The servant said to him, 'Your brother has returned, and your father has slaughtered the fattened calf, because he has him back safe and sound.' He became angry, and when he refused to enter the house, his father came out and pleaded with him. He said to his father in reply, 'Look, all these years I served you, and not once did I disobey your orders. Yet you never gave me even a young goat to feast on with my friends. But when your son returns, who swallowed up your property with prostitutes, for him you slaughtered the fattened calf.' He said to him, 'My son, you are here with me always.' Everything I have is yours. But now we must celebrate and rejoice because your brother was dead and has come to life again. He was lost and has been found. This is the gospel of the Lord.
I can remember way back in my small days where I looked anxiously for the arrival of my father after his work, because I knew that he would bring something for me. So when I hear the sound of the train which stops at the station, then I can remember I rush back, I rush to the door, and I open it, and I so anxiously, eagerly waiting until my father returns back. The same way, my dear friends, today Jesus is depicting how loving, merciful, and caring Father that you and me have. The prodigal father and the prodigal son. The son, of course, he squandered every good thing that he was given by the father. He was handed down by his father. The treasures that father kept for the son until the right time, but son was, he was so hurry, he was so haste that he wanted the things beforehand. The same character are we not playing, my dear friends? We need the things so fast. We need the things to happen so quickly that we cross the time phase. We cross the timeline that the Lord has made. And what happens? Ultimately, we get out from the Father's house. When the Son was with the Father, when he was in the Father's house, the Father protected him. Rather, he was protected by the Father. He did not have to worry about the things. He did not have to worry about the other day, the next day, because Father provided everything for him. But when he got the things away for himself and when he stepped out of the house, that was the moment where he did not know how to handle his life without the Father. And he was severely affected. He was battered down by Satan, that he lost everything. He lost everything. But yet, Father was anxiously waiting for the return of his son, because he always kept the place of his son in the house. Because Father wanted his son to live the life, not to lose the life. Whereas when we step out of the house of the Father, my dear friends, Satan is waiting anxiously to grab you. But on the other side, our Father is waiting anxiously once again to hold you. That is why Father says to his servants, my son was dead, but now he is alive. He was lost, but now he is found. So let us be joyful. Let us be merry about it. The joy that we can give to our Father is once again when we find a place in his house. Not only to the Father, but my family, my friends, everybody will be happy. They will be joyfully celebrating during this season. Once you have found the way back to the Father's house, let us return and let us grab the place that Father has kept for you and me.